Well, hey folks, Fat Guy Flies RC. Well, we're going to do the rates, radio rates and CG video on the FREEWING L-39 80mm in the Czech Republic, the red, white, and blue livery. This is the L-39 Albatross. Now, as you can see, I have the battery. You see the lights are on. I got the battery in her because the light's on. So obviously she's well balanced. Now, for us, let's just go ahead and cover CG since we've got her up on the this is the Hobby King table balancer. They're $14.95, and you just have to catch them. They run them sometimes. You just have to keep an eye on the Hobby King website. Sometimes they have it in the European warehouses, sometimes in the American warehouse. It's hard to. You just had to keep checking them. Check them every couple of days, and when it comes on sale or they have it, nab it. They run $14.95, and they're very handy to have. Well, anyways, the CG on this particular model is 103 millimeters back. Okay, so obviously she's CG. Let me show you. She should rock back just a little bit when I deploy the flaps, which is good. That helps you with landing. All right, she comes down, and she starts becoming slightly nose or slightly tail heavy. So that's fine. That's fine. Not real drastic. Let me show you the landmark on that, okay? And that's that balancer, tail vent. It's very, very easy to put together, small kit, and it's expandable and collapsible. To give you the landmark, if you look underneath the model, now these two black dots, those are not, they're there, they're not there. Okay, where my fingers are shaking, those two black dots, those aren't normally there. But you see that this line of tape, okay? If you put your finger right in front of that line of tape there, that's right, it's 103 back, and it's from the saddle here, where it joins and then up is 103, and that puts it right in front of that tape. So if you bring your fingers out, right there it is. Okay. Try to do this on the camera here. But anyways, that where my fingers are, that's where it's at, right in front of that line of tape. So that's 103 millimeters back, and that balances perfectly. That's with a 5,000. You say, well, that's great and dandy. Let me show you what that translates to inside. And it's very easy to, you don't even have to mark it, because all you do, put your 5,000 even with that wood tray right there, and that's, you put it right there, and that's where she'll balance perfect, a 5,000 6S. And that's about perfect right there. Since we got this off, I'll show you my radio setup. Back here in the back is the 7-channel Livin RX Gen 2. And along the side here, and underneath that wood tray, I have a little satellite receiver that pairs with that, and it got the antenna running this way at 90 degrees, so I don't have any problem with signal loss. Okay. Now, when you put, like I was just going to show you in the build video, but my camera cut, and then I didn't realize that, and I finished the build. But when you put your wing on and you fish your ribbons through that control board box, either ribbons just plug in the very center, and that's all you have to do. Okay, and then you'll plug in your at the very bottom or the top left corner of the blue board, you'll plug in both your rudder and then both your elevators, and it's listed on there. Okay, now if you lose that, all you have to do is refer to your, actually I have it right here. This will come with it, this addendum, and when you look at your multi-control board, this is how it's laid out. You're going to plug your two ribbons in here, but over here the far left, or sorry, the far right, okay, with the black towards the middle and the yellow towards the top up here, you're going to plug in both your elevators and then your rudder, and that's all you're going to plug in along with the two ribbons. So one ribbon, the other ribbon, and then your elevator, both elevators and the rudder with the yellow signal going towards the tail, and the black line wire going towards the front of the nose of the plane. Okay, and again, that CG is measured from the front of the, usually you go the wing root, but it's actually where the fuse joins here and then back. All right, so that's how you plug in your multi-control board. That I've got a installed as an additive. I have a KN Models Afterburn, and I know that it's going to get loud. Hold on, turn the model on. Whoa! Hold on, I just blew the camera back. Okay. And I know that the L-39 probably doesn't come with an afterburner in real life. And I know you scale guys are going to cringe at that. And I don't really care. Because I'll be honest with it. As this thing's flying away from me. And when it's coming right at me, I can see the afterburner down the exhaust or down the intakes. And obviously see the afterburner is going away from me. So the orientation benefit for me far outweighs the lack in the scale, and for me, and it looks cool. So, and I'm sorry, but it just does. It looks really cool. So for that reason alone, to me, that's more important. Orientation or orientation benefit for me is better than worrying about scale. All right, let's go over our rates. We've covered CG. We've covered how I've got it set up and how I got it set aside. Make sure your hatch is good and secure. All right, let's get them all turned around and we'll talk about rates. Now I've got this set up by the book. The book only calls for 2 rates, which are for all 3 control surfaces: 80% for low, 30 and 100% for high on everything. So let's take a look at that. This is my high rate, okay? And this is aileron, rudder, and elevator are all the same, high rate. 100% when I chose 30% expo. So here's high rate, aileron, high rate elevator, high rate rudder. Okay, so right, left, right, left, up, down. Now, low rate is 80%. And I chose 30% expo. So here is your low rate aileron, low rate elevator, and low rate rudder. That's 80% throws with 30% expo. All right, now, and I did, since I put on a 3-position switch, I did do a mid rate. So you can probably guess what I chose: 90% with 30% expo all the way around as just a midpoint. All right. Now the flap settings, they give you a high and a low, which means they don't talk about flaps being up because that's level, but your low rate would be your takeoff flaps, and then your high rate would be your landing flaps. Okay, so takeoff, landing. Okay, now if you can see it, focus your eyes on this elevator. Okay, when I go to takeoff flaps, in other words, that's the low rate flap. The book calls for 1 millimeter down. Just look right here at where the blue and the white join, and you'll see it go down just ever so bit. Okay, and then takeoff and the landing flaps is just a little bit more. Okay, so what that is, when I do the takeoff flaps, it's down 1 millimeter, so just a tiny little bit. And then for landing or high rate flaps, 1.5 millimeters. So it's just a little bit, not much at all. That's what the book calls for. And I like to start with the book settings and go from there. I go with the book CG and the book rates if they provide it, and go from there. Okay, talk about the features of the plane. Obviously, you've seen it's got retracts. Okay. If you notice, now I've got one light flickering here. This one landing light wants to flicker on me. Okay, and I've already gone on the wire, so somewhere in there it'll flicker, but it doesn't go out completely. When you're now it's going to flicker a whole bunch. when your landing gear is deployed, those lights come on, okay? When they're up, those landing lights, which makes sense, they go out. Now, there is a way to make them lights stay on all the time, which I would like to do. And what that involves with, like you saw in the build, you have these wires that plug into there's a little junction box on the wing. And they're just little signal wires. They're just little red and black wires. What you can do is put a Y, okay, plug them into like a JST connector, or you can use a regular servo, but you just have to put it in the negative and the positive. And then run that through, and then plug that into one of the open light ports on that multi-control board box. So you pull them in, put them on a Y, and then run them to that multi-control board box. That's entirely up to you. Otherwise, you're only going to see those landing lights when the gear is down, because that's the way the real one works. And if you paid attention, it does take a little while for that gear to come down and go up. They are a sequence. The bomb or the tanks are just held on by magnets, and you glued on the pylons. So they're very nice, strong magnets. I will do the maiden flight probably with them on, depending on the weather. And today was supposed to have been the maiden on this, but the weather was so bad and such a bad cross breeze that this great big rudder up here is going to act like a sail and make my landings very, very interesting. The other mod I did besides the KM model Afterburner is I've also given her a clear coat. And the clear coat that I use, let me grab a can of it so you can see the product. Okay. You can get this in America, you can get this all over the place. Okay. It's Minwax polyacrylic. I like the clear gloss. It's about $13 for a can, and I can completely do models about this size. I can do about 5 or 6 models with one coat. Maybe 3 models if I do 2 coats. This only has the 1 coat on it, and about once a year, because the coat will wear off over time and air and everything, I'll reapply this. Now you just have to be careful. I tried my best to stay away from the, I should have masked it, but I didn't. Kind of spread an angle. But I did it out in the garage with the garage door open for ventilation, because this stuff will stink. You don't need to be breathing the fumes. But the nice thing about it's got to be the polyacrylic. The water base, not the oil base. Okay, you want the acrylic. This specifically the acrylic, because I think the oil base will eat at the foam or degrade your foam. Could be wrong, but all I know is that the acrylic has worked really well for me. It's the same price anyways. Can't really think of it because we covered CG. We covered the rates I'll be flying, which is what that graphically looks like. We covered what mods I've done. We've covered the flap settings and how that looks. And we covered what kind of radio system I've got and how I've got it set up and where you put your battery at. Right there on that big 5,000 right there on that wooden tray. Now what I would do is if I ran a 4,000, I would probably, and there's plenty of room, probably let that 4,000 hang off by about ½ an inch in the forward. But because I know right where that CG is, right in front of that tape, and I marked it with 2 black marks, then I can feel it right there at the field and put it on my fingers. Let's just go ahead and just do like I would at the field and just show you. See, the lights went out. And how it would feel, how the CG feels. Just like I do it at the field. Yeah, feel pretty. I mean, you're looking for a drastic drop in the tail or the nose. Okay, then nothing's drastic. Okay, it's pretty well balancing right there. All right, well there you go, folks. That is the FREEWING L-39, and this is my radio rates and CG video, which I try to do. I don't do this with all my models, but the majority of my models, I'll do this kind of video. All right, well thank you for watching. This is Fat Guy Flies RC saying big shout out to my tubinators, which are my regular viewers. God bless y'all. I got a whole bunch of y'all, and I talk to y'all almost every day. God bless y'all, and God bless all y'all that are just coming by to stop by and see what this fat guy is all about. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And don't forget, family and friends, the L-39.